Are you the face of your small business but camera shy or stuck relying on selfies? Let me tell you why investing in a professional photo shoot might be the best decision for your brand and how you can prepare to make it an amazing experience. Are you running a textile craft business or dreaming of starting one? Whether you are trying to make a living or something extra on the side, turning from crafter to business owner can be a steep learning curve. It doesn't have to be. With 16 years of experience in running small business in textile crafts and a drive to build a solid alternative to fast fashion, my mission is to provide you with no BS, actionable exercises and strategies in a language that makes sense to you, that you can implement right away so you can organize, build, and grow your business. Don't burn out before you get started. Build a solid base with the help of Pattern Shift podcast and the Yavol community and its programs. Now, when you have a small brand, it is really, really hard to shine next to all the other small brands. If you're a yarn dyer, if you have a web shop, if you run a shop, a local shop, if you're a designer, there are multitude of businesses that do the same thing and offer similar products. So what we do to make ourselves stand out from the crowd is to work on our branding, to show who we are and why we are different. And we work on building a relationship with our customers. We want them to find us, get to know us, trust us, and preferably like us. How do you do that when you land on a website and there's no face? Or when you land on social media and there's no face? It's really hard to connect to a faceless business. And we all know that we do not like faceless businesses. We think about completely different kinds of businesses when we use those words. So be different, show yourself, give your audience and your clients a chance to get to know you. In this episode, we will look at the importance of professional photos, at how you can prepare for a shoot, how you can overcome shyness, the budgeting part of it, and I will be sharing bits and bobs of my own story. So why does professional photography matter? Well, there's the part that I briefly talked about before. It's the branding. It's working on a relationship with your audience and credibility. When you are not showing your face more and more in a world of drop shipping websites, AI, everything is generated by something other than a human soul, it is really nice to be able to build some credibility through professional makers and business owners like yourself. And in this case, I'm talking about professional photographers. I know that AI has been so great for us small businesses with low budgets. It's been amazing. But every now and then, you have to invest in your business and you have to take that extra step. And I believe that getting professional photos taken is one of the best ways to start becoming more and more professional. If you have professional photos, you are just more credible. It just really helps to show people that you are taking your business seriously. You stand out. So if you go to a festival, let's say if you go to a yarn festival or a craft show or something like that, and you return home and then you bought some things, you collected some business cards, you signed up for some newsletters if they did their job right, you as a business owner will go to these websites and will have a look at who they are. And you want to learn more about them. And I'm saying as a business owner, as a crafter, you go to these festivals. And as a business owner, you go there as well in another capacity sometimes when you are selling. But the same thing applies. You come back home, you've made some new connections, you sit down at your computer and you want to learn more about these people. Now, that would be really nice if you can see their face and you're like, oh, that was that person. They were so lovely, all of that kind of thing. So we need to kind of counterbalance all the digital tools and to add a little bit more humanity into what we do. It fits what we do. It fits our values and it just makes sense. I went to the Landelijke Spindag recently and talked about that in the last episode, if I remember it well. And I did the same thing. I went on some websites and there is so much to win there. There are so many businesses that clearly are uncomfortable or don't set out enough time to make some good branding decisions. It is just really, let me just tell it like it is. It's really off-putting if a website is not clear, if it's not inviting, if you don't know who you're talking to, basically. So yeah, you want to stand out in the digital world and you want to add some humanity to things. So it's a huge opportunity to show yourself as you are and how you are different and how you differentiate, not just as a person, also because of what you offer, obviously, but that's another topic for another day. That is the full branding, what we do in branding and figuring out how your products, your values, how everything differentiates from your competitors. But in this case, we talk about you as a person, and you have to communicate with other people. And this is just one of the ways that you communicate. The connection, the reliability that communicates to your audience. So building a connection and showing that you are reliable because you don't hide. That's really important. So for me, I decided about 3 years ago when I closed my shop and started my business in its current form that I needed to have more images. And a website without images is just plain boring. And I really need to show people who I am because I am basically selling myself right now. I'm selling my ability to help them grow their business. And you don't work with somebody that you've never seen before. I mean, yesterday, the sole reason that I watched a Zoom call from somebody that offers a coaching course is because I wanted to know the vibe. The vibe is important to me. I can read what they offer. I can read their credentials. I just wanted to know if they are my people, and they were amazing. And that is really important. And when you can do that with a podcast like this one, or a video, or going live, or whatever you want to do, that is great. But you don't have to become necessarily this content maker. But showing your face is the least you can do. So that's what I made my point. I made my point. So I decided that I needed a bunch of images and not just anything. I mean, I couldn't show the balls of the yarn that I sold anymore. I didn't have workshops anymore. So they would have to be images of me and what I do, and which is basically sitting behind a computer mostly. But I also still do a lot of crafting. I'm fully immersed in the craft world when it comes to making my own conscious wardrobe. So I actually had a photo session where I appeared to be naked. I was not, I can assure you, in the bath with all my yarn, or a lot of my yarn in the bathtub. I have actually more than a bathtub full of yarn, but it was a lot. And we had different locations. We went to the park, in my house, in my garden, in my kitchen, my office. Where did we go? Yeah, those were the locations, and it was a really amazing experience. It's been 3 years, and honestly, I haven't even used all the photos yet, But I'm getting to the point where I'm like, ooh, I'm 3 years older. I look a bit different now. It might be time for some new pictures. And the weather's really meh. I'm hoping for snow. So perhaps when it's snowy, I can set up a new shoot, like a shorter shoot for just snow pictures, because obviously you can't use them for a whole year. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I really so much enjoyed the whole experience. Now, I have to tell you that I'm not necessarily camera shy. I studied photography, and a lot of what we did in art school was model for the other people in the class. I also did some modeling back in the day for hairdressers and stuff. So I was kind of used to it, but I'm not always my best self. So I'm not always very comfortable in front of a camera. Sometimes I just don't feel great. And I know things and I've learned things that really helped me to get to that point. So we'll talk about that later as well. But my photographer was amazing, and we had a wonderful time. I would love to interview her one day and just get a little bit deeper into this subject. But there were so many instances of lack of connection that I found in the websites that I visited in the last couple of months, that I thought it's time to talk about this subject right now and to help you prepare to do this in the new year. What was really hilarious is that Rachel, my photographer, she was so fun. I found her through, I think, must have been through Instagram or another business. Yeah, that's it. I saw her work on another Instagram from a local business, and I really liked it. I liked the vibe. When you think about branding, my brand is, of course, I'm in the needlecraft world, but I wanted something that was a little bit edgy, but also friendly. So what I decided on is I worked with an illustrator and I worked with this photographer. The photographer had a little bit more of the edgy side of the picture. They have a little bit of a brown, darker filter going on. She works a lot with people that are tattooed. So we also got a photo of my knitting tattoo in the bathtub with the yarn and everything, which was really fun. And she just has a way of making her shots look rock and roll, that was just what I was looking for. So the fact that she had her own branding, her own type of photography, made me decide I need to work with her because she's perfect for my brand. And then later on, I worked with Loes van Oosten, who did the illustrations for my brand, which is more of my friendlier, more colorful side. So I've got two parts of my own identity connected to my business identity, and all of that is my branding, and it just feels like me, which is basically the point of this whole episode and my whole job in the world right now, except for being a mom and all of that. Amazing experience. And what I was going to say is that Rachel was so funny. She was so good at what she did that although I had some experience in posing, I was still very nervous. I was quite nervous, but she took that away in like moments. She asked me questions, and then we were in the park, and all of a sudden she yelled out, "Penises!" And I was like, "What?" And then she got my reaction, and I laughed so hard, and she took some really cool pictures of me laughing hard. And you might have seen them, actually. I use them a lot. Like I'm really laughing there because I'm so like embarrassed, but at the same time, I was like, you didn't just do that. That was amazing. So they're professionals, so they know what they're doing. So of course you're nervous, but she made me feel at ease in no time. She was my kind of person also. We didn't really chat a lot, but we just vibed. It was just great. And I really, really enjoyed that. So that was my personal experience. Now, we talked about why you want to do this, why you want to go for a professional photography shoot. Now, how do you, when you are there, when you're here listening to me and you're like, okay, I got you, you made your point. How do I prepare for something like that? Well, here we go. I'm going to take you through 5 steps. The first thing that we need to talk about before we get into the steps is your mindset shift. There's a lot of us that could benefit from having a sit down, journaling, talking to ourselves, looking in the mirror and going like, listen, this is not an expense. This is an investment. It's worth the money. It's going to help to make my audience, my clients see me and trust me and choose me because they fit. It's just part of this know, like, and trust journey that you go through as a brand. When it comes to your audience, they need to know you. Then they need to like you, and then they trust you, and then they buy from you. That's the process that they go through. So it's an investment. It's worth it. It's so worth it. What is also important is it is about presenting your authentic self. It's not about perfection. So are you ready to transform your business this summer? I'm Saskia de Feiter, and I'm excited to introduce our exclusive summer school program. For a limited time, we're offering our renowned Business Circle program at a fraction of the cost. This is your chance to access valuable insights, exercises, and strategies that will help you build a solid foundation for your business. But here's the catch. It's only available for 2 months, and you'll need to commit at least 4 hours a week to see results. This program is perfect for self-motivated individuals who are ready to put in the work. While there are no live Zoom calls or one-on-one sessions as there are in the full program, you'll have access to our supportive community where you can connect with like-minded entrepreneurs and get your questions answered. Don't miss the opportunity to invest in your business growth at an unbeatable price. Join our summer school program now and take your business to the next level. Visit our website or contact me today to learn more and secure your spot. Remember, spaces are limited and this offer won't last long. Act now and make this summer count for your business. Go to patternshift.fm or ja-wall.com and go to Business Circle program to find more info. I know you might struggle with perfection. You've all been there. I struggle with it still. I have to battle it, but perfection is our enemy. We just want to be ourselves. Of course, this photographer is going to make us look good. We're going to wear the right clothes. We're going to do all the things, but you have to be yourself. If you show up as somebody else, if you look at Instagram and are like, I'm going to do it just like that person, that's not you. You have to figure out who you are so you show up authentically so that vibe comes across. That's important. Otherwise, it's just, there's no point to this because we're doing this for connection and it needs to be authentic. And I'm all about focusing on the ethical side of business and we want to be as authentic as we can be. Yeah, that's important. So here we go. Step 1, choose a photographer. Do your research, find somebody whose style, as I said, matches your brand. If you haven't done a lot of work around branding, you can do that later. You can go to patternshift.fm and you can find my course and do all of that and get there. But if you haven't done that yet, it's fine. Who matches your vibe? I mean, my teenagers talk about vibe a lot. I love it. Vibe is a word that is really useful, so I'm using it. And Researching is quite simple. Use Google, use your friends. As I said, how I found her was on Instagram, local businesses, see what kind of photographers they've used. Talk to other people and find somebody like you would find any other professional, which could also be LinkedIn, by the way. You might not be on LinkedIn, but that's how people in the business world kind of meet each other. I'm not on there a lot either, but it's very useful for finding people that you need. Right. Now, that's one. Choose a photographer. Step 2, plan your vision. What do you have in mind? Make a Pinterest board. I did that as well. I just looked at poses, what kind of lighting. I think for me, natural lighting is always best, but it's also a little bit up to your what your vibe is and what your, here we go with the vibe again, and what your branding is. And if you're all like bright lights, neon, disco vibing, then perhaps no natural lighting, but you're roller skating in a disco or something like that. That's up to you. Think about it though, and think about style ideas that resonate with your brand in terms of clothing and the style of the picture in general. Just collect images, but don't do this for months and months and months. Like at one point, it's just going to be, okay, we're going to get going with this. For me, as a fat woman, I collected poses specifically for voluptuous ladies. So what is a good pose for me might be different than if you are more slender looking, and that goes for all kinds of things. Say if you are less able-bodied, how do you want to pose? What can you do? And look for poses that work for you. Are you going to go for the professional, creative, casual, bold? Think about those kinds of things. What is matching with your brand? And then brainstorm the props and the locations that could showcase your business personality, your work. You don't have to be set in your shop for all the pictures. You could also be knitting and having coffee in a cafe. I mean, it's not just you in your business, it's you as a person as well. I have some pictures of me with chickens. So that just shows people who I am. And I like that kind of thing. It's really fun. So think about that. And then step 3, outfits and props. Think about what you'll wear. Neutral, bold, connected to your brand, but keep it comfortable for you. You are going to step out of your comfort zone probably anyway. So you can do a little bit of that, but it has to feel like it's still you. So if you work all day in your pajamas, then perhaps do not do that. But you could do a very cozy on the couch under a blanket with a cup of tea type of picture. That could work. But if you just jazz it up a little, but make it still be you. Try your outfits on and try the different poses so that you've done a bit of that, and don't look at it as if you're rehearsing a dance or something. You don't have to completely remember all the poses. It's just that you get a feel for how these things go, and it might go completely differently in the moment, and that's fine too. Just preparing for this makes it like you're more relaxed and know a little bit of what's going to happen. When you talk about props, for me, that would be computer, my desk, a laptop, and a cafe. But if you have a shop or dye yarn, you could be actually dyeing yarn and pulling the yarn out of the pot and getting your picture taken that way. Those are all props. If you are feeding the chickens or walking the dog, then the dog becomes the prop. Don't dress up the dog though, unless that's part of your brand. Let me think. What else? It could be something symbolic, like rainbow posters, anything that matches who you are, your values, things you want to communicate, and things that you want to come across to your audience and clients. We talked about poses before, and I'm going to come back to them in step 4. Practicing the poses. Using a mirror, you can see what it looks like if you cross your legs, or if you have, like, for instance, if you have a very bold colored brand, a jump in the air. I mean, I know that you're listening to me and you're cringing, but if that's your personality, if you're bubbly and wild, take a bubbly and wild picture, jump up in the air and take the picture midair, throw your yarn in the air and take the picture while it's falling down. I mean, be creative. And as I said before, when you practice these poses, it's not going to be so weird and so new and so awkward in the moment when you do them for the first time. If you are inclined to lean to the, I want to look my very, very best, and I think we all have a little bit of that, you might consider what angles look good for portraiture, closer up, and also angles for the body. I mean, for me, I do not necessarily like en profile with my body because I have a little bit of depth to my belly section. And for me, it looks better from the front, I think, for a picture, because then I have a little bit of waist. And I don't want to, this is all me. Like, this is what I feel comfortable in, and you need to be you. You do you. And if you're like, I don't care. I just want to look like I look, and in every moment, that's great. More power to you. Do it. So you want to look like you. You want to look good. You're not going to be super filtered Insta fabulous. It's not going to be like that, but you also don't want to look in the picture like my husband takes the worst pictures of me, and he's like, yeah, but that's how you look and I love you. That's great, but could you just move the angle up a little so I see a little bit less of my second chin, please? Thank you. And because I used to be a photographer, I look at all those details. When I take a picture, I make sure I pay attention to those things. But some people, they just love you. So that's great. What was my point here? Yeah, don't overthink it. I feel like I'm talking about it too much, but I also feel like I know you, and you're going to be awkward and you're not going to be comfortable. So I just want to, on one hand, say, don't overthink it. Don't take it too seriously. It's not a model shoot. It's a brand shoot, which is different, a lot different. So be you, but also prepare so that you can look your best. And you're going to be feeling great when you did all the preparation. So that was step 4, practice poses. And now we go into step 5, which are the logistics. Of course, you have to confirm the schedule and the details with the photographer. You've already found the photographer, you've already emailed them, and you're just going to find out how they work so that you know how much preparation you need to do. You need to know how much time you'll have, if you have time to do multiple outfits or not, because that's going to take time. So if you already know what kind of outfits you're going to wear and you have them ready, then it's going to be bam, quick, on to the next one. And that's what I did. And that's how I had a very affordable photo shoot, because I was just so prepared. I hope she wasn't disappointed because I was so fast. I even had it down to my underlayer so that I could just change in front of her wherever. And that was really fun. So I just asked I asked her how much time do we have, and we talked about the different locations, and we made it clear beforehand, very clear what we could expect from each other. And then, of course, other logistics are, before you start, double check your hair, your makeup, any accessories that you need. You might want to book an appointment with your hairdresser. And if you do your nails, go do your nails. because paying for a shoot and having outgrown nails or whatever might not be the best timing for that. So make sure that you think about those kind of things. So those are the 5 steps in the preparation for photo shoots. Choose your photographer, plan your vision, outfits and props, practice your poses, and the logistics. All right, so let's talk about budgeting for our photo shoot. Before, I talked about mindset shift and that you have to see this as an investment. Now, what kind of general costs are we looking at here? I think a lot of you want to know. So it's just a range I'm giving you, and so that you have a general idea. In smaller cities, or beginner photographers can do photo shoots from $200 to $500. I'm using dollars for this example. I think that because I've got a lot of listeners in the USA. Hello, USA listeners. I think everybody kind of knows how much that would be. So, and then when you go to more experienced photographers in the kind of mid-tier market, it's from $500 to $1,500. And then the high-end custom branding shoots in the large cities, they can go up to from $1,500 to $5,000. Like, you can go crazy if you want to. I wouldn't. Personally, I think my first shoot was about 300 euros. I'm just thinking about this. Rachel was actually also our wedding photographer, which was great. I completely forgot to tell you that. Of course, that was another price range because that's a whole other thing. But my first short shoot was around 300 euros. That is not a lot. And you get so much for it. You can use it forever and ever and ever. It's not like you get just one photo. You get a whole range of photos. And you can use them in your newsletters, your website, on your social media. Like, it's for everything. And it builds this relationship with your customer, and it's so worth the cost. So yeah, just want to mention that if you do want to work with makeup artists and things like that, if you want to be fancy schmancy and multiple locations, or if they do retouching, that's a whole thing. And that's a whole different episode as well, because do you want to do that? Do you not want to do that? I mean, I had a conversation with her about it, and I thought it was fine to do some, like if there's a car, well, that's too big of a thing. If there's a fly somewhere, she can take the fly away, but I didn't want to retouche anything on me. So yeah, of course, all the extras are more, but then you get a general idea. And I'm sure you are thinking now, oh, that's not too bad. No, it's not. It really is not. If you run a business, set aside a couple of tenors every month if you are really struggling, but otherwise you should be able to do this. So if you're on a tight budget, of course, you can do a shorter session, or you can do just one outfit. You can do a mini session. Just talk to the photographer and see what they can do. Perhaps they have some kind of package deal. Do a shorter session now, and next year do another one, and you can get a discount, perhaps an off-season discount. Who knows what they offer? But I think the quality goes over the quantity. Prioritize your quality over quantity. A few amazing photos, they can go a long way. Focus on your website. That's what you need them for first, and everything else is an added bonus, right? I thought it was so worth it. It was so worth the money, and I'm still using I still haven't used all the photos. And I remember Rachel saying that some of the pictures that are in there now, you might not like right now, but you probably will in the future. She was really right. Of course, you're going to want to pick out those pictures that make you look your best first, and then they become a part of your brand. They are just there, like your font is there and your one-liner is there. And if you don't know what that is, go check out PatternShift.com and sign up for the course, and I'll tell you about the one-liner. So that's all for the budgeting now. I feel like there's no excuse. You really should just go for it. Ooh, overcoming camera shyness, which is a big thing for a lot of people. I think that the majority of the clients that I'm working with now are extremely camera shy and are not great at showing their faces. I loosened them up a little bit. It's going better and better. And even one of them even had a photo shoot done in the past, but she wasn't using it. What? Seriously? What? She is now, though, because I'm super strict and mean. So she is now. So yeah, overcoming camera shyness, it's a thing. You just have to realize that it's really normal to feel nervous and awkward in front of a camera. And even with experience, for me, it's the same thing. I just have to get over this initial and shake your body, shake it off if you need to. Build that trust with your photographer. Some emails, but also maybe a call beforehand just to figure out if you can vibe with them. A good photographer, they really know how to help you relax. That's their job, right? They want you to look good too. They want you to be happy with the pictures. And so they will guide you through the poses, and they should be able to do this stuff. This is what they do. Be honest, share what your concerns are. They've seen it all. Just if you say look, I know I've got this second chin coming and it doesn't make me feel great. So if you could have a little bit of a extra eye for that when you take pictures, that would be great. If you are paying them to not make you look like somebody else, but make you look like your best self. And this is why communication and talking is important, because from personal experience, people say, you look great. I love how you look. As a fat person, you always look so stylish or whatever. And they're very kind. But they look at me differently than I look at me. So my tummy is a little bit of a part where I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I have had moments, years, decades where I didn't care, and now I care a little bit more. I'm kind of in a chapter in my life where I'm a little bit less comfortable in my skin. I know it'll pass, but this is what's happening right now. Just talk to the photographer about it, and they can help you to take the right poses. Be kind to yourself, and you're offering value to your audience. You are giving them something that they wouldn't have if it wasn't for you. It is not about communicating what doesn't look good on you. It's about communicating who you are as a person. That is the focus. So even though I know what I just said, I want you to feel good so that you talk to your photographer and they can keep that in mind. But in the end, be kind to yourself. It's about showing who you are as a person, not what you look like as a person. That's kind of the difference, right? You're representing your brand and you're not auditioning for a modeling agency. What can help? And it's also a lot of the voorpret, as we call it in Dutch, the fun beforehand, is there a word for that in English? I don't think so. Yeah, there's a word, but I can't think of it right now. But the fun you have before the actual thing it's great to do some visualization exercises, just to visualize the outcome. What would they look like? How could you communicate elevating your business, empowering yourself, looking strong, confident, or lovely, soft and shy, if that's your thing? What would that look like? And yeah, do some mindfulness exercises, deep breathing before the shoot, have a cup of coffee or tea, and just make sure that you don't plan all kinds of things before the shoot. Just be kind to yourself and be mindful and visualize the outcome just as a fun exercise. I did feel nervous, but as I said before, she made me feel at ease in no time. It was amazing. So let me summarize what we've been talking about. I hope you got some information that you didn't have before. And I want to kind of summarize the key points that we talked about. It's so important to show your face and Professional photos, they build trust and they show that you are confident and competent. We talked about preparing effectively for a photo shoot, how you do that, and how to overcome camera shyness. We talked about managing the costs. And I just wanted to leave you with the thought that your audience, your clients, they want to see you. A shoot isn't just about taking pictures. It's about sharing your full story and building the brand that feels approachable and real and kind and all of that, all of those values that are you. I have a challenge for you. You can take the first step today. You can find a photographer today or start a Pinterest board. Just small steps. Just do that today. And trust me, your future self will thank you. I will have a checklist available for you to download. You'll find the link in the show notes at patternshift.fm. And hopefully this will help you even more in finally getting that lovely view of you on your website, on your social media, and wherever you need it. Thank you so much. Good luck. If you want to build or grow your business in textile crafts, why don't you join our online community for the small monthly contribution of only €10, which is basically $10-ish. You get to hang out, learn from, and share your business and your personal craft journey with all the lovely people there. Support the podcast at the same time, and you get everything wrapped into one loving package. I would love to welcome you there. Go to patternshift.fm and click community. And while you're there, sign up for our emails so you'll never miss a thing.